Luke always clung to me, cuddling and hugging, but he was straight.I heard him reject a guy who confessed to him myself. Could you stop messing with me? I'm straight, only for him to turn around and whine for comfort from me. When I pushed him away saying, Luke, this isn't right. I'm a guy too, he froze. How can you compare yourself to him? Besides, it's not like you're into me anyway. That's when it clicked. The only difference between me and that rejected guy was my lack of feelings for him. So I started treating him like any regular friend. Yet there he was, red-eyed and tugging my sleeve like a kicked puppy. Shawn, why are you being so cold? I woke up sweating. A heavy arm draped over my waist, a furnace of a body pressed against my back. Grunting, I shoved the half-draped man off and kicked him hard. The idiot mumbled sleepily, eyes still shut, as he dragged me back against him, nuzzling his stupid face into my chest. Babe? 5 more minutes? His hot breath hit that sensitive spot, making me arch. I yanked his hair. Luke? Wake up. He finally blinked awake, ruffling his bedhead. Hungry? I'll grab breakfast. I nodded impatiently, just wanting him gone. Luke fumbled into his shirt and stumbled out. Our roommate's voice carried through the door. Luke, your wifey still in bed, getting her breakfast? Luke hushed. Keep it down, she needs her beauty sleep. The room quieted again. I threw off the sheets, glanced down and sighed. Both men? Yet I couldn't match Luke's shamelessness. Maybe because I carried this secret, staring at the ceiling. I finally got up. My roommate looked up from his phone, grinning. Perfect timing, Shawn. Luke's getting cornered by some guy confessing. It's all over the campus wall. Rescue mission? By the time I arrived, the show was ending. Crowds lingered as Luke raked fingers through his hair, scowling. Dude, cut it out. I'm straight. The mascara-running boy sniffled. But, you and Shawn? Luke's voice turned icy. You think you're anywhere near his league? We're both straight, not like those freaks. Freaks? The word hung like poison. The boy paled as Luke backpedaled. Sorry, didn't mean, we're just not gay. Neither is Shawn. As the crowd scattered, I turned to leave, only for footsteps to chase me. An arm locked around mine. Babe, you came. Luke waved breakfast bags, nuzzling my neck. I suffered through this for your croissants. And you didn't even save me. I shoved him. Was that guy disgusting? Obviously. Then why's this okay? I gestured between us. I'm a guy too. Luke frowned like I'd spoken gibberish. You're nothing like him. No perfume, no makeup. Just, you, and you don't even like me. There it was. The real reason buried under all his excuses. Since I didn't like him, I could stay by his side without complications. Maybe because I looked pale. Luke cautiously asked if he'd said something wrong again. When I didn't answer, he assumed my blood sugar had dropped and urgently reached to carry me. I flinched, dodging his touches. My hand smacked his arm with a sharp crack. Luke froze mid-motion. I steadied my expression and replied flatly, no, you're right. But this isn't appropriate. Luke, we need to keep our distance from now on. We weren't in the same major, so after saying this, I left for class. My phone buzzed non-stop until I silenced it. That night, returning to the dorm after showering, I walked into the bathroom to grab my laundry just as Luke dropped my underwear into the wash basin. He'd always washed them for me. It started during northern winters when my hands would turn raw red from scrubbing clothes in icy water. Every time Luke noticed, he'd frown deeply, tucking my hands against his chest until they warmed. Eventually he took over, shrugging, my hands are tough. It's just one pair. No big deal. If you feel guilty, just be nicer to me. He'd grin like a puppy begging for treats. But now, it felt wrong. I stopped him. Don't bother anymore. I'll handle my own underwear. When I reached for the clothes, Luke didn't let go. He turned, studied me, then suddenly closed and I retreated until my back hit the bathroom door. Click. The lock engaged as he withdrew his hand from the doorknob. Babe, he murmured, voice low and pleading, tell me what I did wrong. I'll fix it. Luke always blurred lines like this, exclusive tenderness mixed with harmless teasing, making me think he felt the same. I'd forgotten how shamelessly straight guys could call someone babe or cross boundaries without a second thought. Meeting his gaze, I swallowed the words and repeated, it's not you. It's me. This isn't right. I shoved him aside and walked out. Luke, it turned out, excelled at selective hearing. At bedtime, he tried climbing into my bunk like usual. I pressed my foot against his chest, holding him back. What are you doing? Sleeping. He said it like it was obvious. You have your own bed. He glanced at his pristine and used mattress. We'd shared mine so long I'd almost forgotten he rented an off-campus apartment. Luke, the spoiled rich kid, hated dorm life, too cramped, no housekeeping. He'd begged me to move in with him, but I refused. So he'd camped here instead, abandoning his king-size bed to squeeze into this creaky twin bunk. Go sleep at your place, I said. He waved his phone. Past curfew, doors are locked. This from the guy who scaled gates weekly. I rolled my eyes. Bunk with someone else. Our roommate yelped, clutching his blanket in the corner. Don't drag me into your lover spat. Couples fight and make Up by bedtime, Luke's lips thinned. Pitifully he sighed, "No one wants me, only you tolerate me." When I didn't budge, he dropped the act, inching upward against my foot. When it came to brute strength, I was no match for Luke. As he closed in, I retracted my leg to kick him off the bed. But he seized the opportunity, grabbing my ankle and vaulting onto the mattress, pinning my legs beneath him with alarming efficiency. He crowded into my personal space. "What's really bothering you? Spit it out." All traces of vulnerability had vanished from Luke's expression. His broad frame blocked most of the overhead light as he loomed over me. "Because you're straight?" I sneered, meeting his gaze head-on. "So am I. This kind of whatever we're doing could be misread. We both need to date actual partners someday." His eyes darkened. "You like someone?" Oh. Typical Luke logic, leaping to the most absurd conclusion. I saw no point in correcting him. "None of your business." The full weight of his body pressed me into the mattress until my ribs creaked. I shoved at his chest, desperate for breathing room. "Everything about you is my business," he growled, ignoring my resistance to nuzzle roughly against my neck. His stubble scraped my skin as his voice dropped to that dangerous purr. "Stay single. What's wrong with how things are between us?" I arched away, squinting up at him. "Since when do you get a say in my love life?" "Oh, and FYI, I'm not into platonic arrangements." His hand slid up my inner thigh. "So this is why you need a girlfriend?" The sudden contact made me clamp my legs together, trapping his fingers. "What happened to being straight?" I hissed. Luke looked momentarily conflicted, then shrugged. "You're different. Besides," his thumb circled dangerously close to sensitive territory. "Lots of straight guys help each other out." Rage flooded me. "Who else have you helped?" "Nobody, baby." He rushed to answer, recognizing my stormy expression. "Couldn't stand touching anyone else." I turned my face away, knees driving into his abdomen. "Get off." During the struggle, my palm accidentally connected with his cheek. The sharp slap hung in the air. Luke slowly turned back, grabbed my still stinging hand, and pressed it to his other cheek. "Hit me again if you're still mad." His eyes glittered with something unsettling. Yanking free, I elbowed him in the ribs hard enough to knock the wind out of him. "One more word and you're sleeping on the floor." The reprieve lasted exactly 8 hours. By morning, Luke had appointed himself my personal security detail against any potential suitors, especially female ones. When our class president appeared at the classroom door, Luke blocked the exit before I could stand. "Shawn's busy. What do you need?" "Department meeting?" the president said dryly. "Unless you want to take minutes about curriculum reforms?" Luke reluctantly stepped aside, though his glower followed us down the hall. I ignored his barrage of texts offering dinner bribes, instead heading to the library with the president to work on a group project. We'd barely settled at a study corral when my companion nudged me. "Isn't that your watchdog?" Luke's head popped around the doorframe like some overgrown meerkat. "Spotted." He dragged a chair over and planted himself at our table with territorial satisfaction. The president raised an eyebrow. "Something we can help you with?" "Oh, just waiting for Shawn." He stretched his legs across the aisle, all faux casualness. "Don't mind me." The unspoken challenge hung in the air. Every minute ticked by under his surveillance, a clear warning to anyone considering getting close to me. He said that, but his burning gaze kept searing into me until my cheeks flushed. Every time the class monitor leaned slightly closer, Luke looked ready to combust, his eyes bulging like his entire world was about to be stolen. I couldn't take it anymore. Slamming my textbook shut, I told the monitor, "Let's continue this online later." As soon as he left, Luke pounced like an overeager puppy. "Babe, I booked that Japanese place you love." "Look." I cut him off evenly. "You're suffocating me." His smile froze. I don't." Standing, I grabbed my bag. "I've got plans." His knuckles whitened around his water bottle. "With who?" "None of your business." When I shoved past him, he snarled, "Like hell it isn't," but didn't follow. Yusef's maple syrup laugh carried across the bar as I entered. His new perm bounced with his bear hug. "Missed you?" "Right. 2 weeks isn't that long?" I chuckled, patting his fluffy hair. "Bullshit." His glittery eyelashes narrowed. "Luke drama again?" After my venting, Yusef rolled his honey brown eyes. "That man's denser than Walmart concrete." Sliding his phone over, he winked at the shirtless gym selfie glowing on screen. "So, business major. Basketball team. Use him. I arrived at the court next afternoon during halftime. Luke's economics team dominated the scoreboard, but his thunderous expression darkened further when Sam materialized beside me. Ray, you're melting. The freshman pressed an iced water bottle to my cheek, fingertips lingering. Want me to get you nachos? Luke's sneakers squeaked to a halt mid-court. I watched his Adam's apple bob as Sam's arm brushed mine while explaining zone defense tactics. Babe. Luke materialized between us like human barbed wire, reeking of Axe body spray and jealousy. Who's your friend? Sam's dimples deepened. So, you're Professor Smith's TA, right? Turning to me with performative surprise. He added, had no idea you two were roommates. Luke's arm viced around my shoulders. We share more than toothpaste. I leaned into Sam's personal space, letting my hair graze his jersey. Sam's helping me with macroeconomics. The buzzer blared. Luke's grip tightened as Sam winked. Private tutoring's my specialty. Luke's eyes darkened. He should have felt relieved, but instead something was rapidly expanding in his chest, threatening to erupt. Was that who you went out with yesterday? He demanded. I met his gaze without answering. The whistle blew, signaling the start of the second half. Before taking the court, Luke gave me a look that blended warning, resentment, and a barely perceptible plea. On the court, he transformed completely. Gone was his usual languid demeanor. Every move now carried ruthless precision as he dominated rebounds, steals, and scores with brutal efficiency. Each basket made. His eyes would instinctively dart toward my seat like a predator confirming its prey's attention. When he slammed a dunk so violently the backboard shuddered, the entire gym fell silent. The economics department's victory was inevitable. Teammates rushed to celebrate, but Luke shoved through them, sweat dripping from his jawline as he stalked toward me. His chest heaved, eyes locked on mine as if Sam beside me didn't exist. Shawn, we need to talk. His gravelly voice brooked no argument as he seized my wrist. Look, what's your problem? I struggled against his iron grip. Sam stood. Senior Luke. A single glacial glare from Luke silenced him. With me. He half dragged me past gawking spectators toward the empty locker room. The door slammed shut behind us, lock clicking ominously. Pinned against the door by his feverish body, I drowned in the musk of sweat and his familiar citrus shampoo. Who is he? He growled, breath scalding my face. A friend. I turned away. Friend? Luke's bitter laugh vibrated against me. What kind of friend needs to whisper in your ear? What kind of friend makes you blush? His calloused thumb ground into my cheekbone until it stung. I sneered through the pain. You're the one who insisted we're both straight. What exactly are you accusing me of? He froze, realization dawning that his rage had no logical source. I leaned closer, lips grazing his ear. Or are you worried I'm exactly what you despise, a gay man getting cozy with someone? Luke recoiled as if burned, putting 3 paces between us while raking hands through his hair. That's not. Knuckles rapped the door. Shawn, ready for dinner? Sam called. I turned to leave as Luke yanked off his jersey, revealing glistening abs that tapered into the Adonis belt disappearing beneath his waistband. My fingers drummed the doorknob. Time to twist the knife. Actually, Luke, that might be awkward. He paused mid-shirt pull. What? I flashed a saccharine smile. Because we're going on a date. You were right, I am exactly what you hate. Luke blocked the exit, addressing Sam with lethal calm. He's unavailable. The team captain's arrival broke the standoff. Perfect. You're all coming to the victory party. At the bar. I found myself bookend, Luke brooding on my left downing whiskeys. Sam on my right leaning close until his arm brushed my chair back. Without warning, Luke's arm banded around my waist, hauling me sideways. Sam gripped my wrist. A bit possessive. Senior? Speak up if you've got something to say. Luke snapped. No one's stopping you. The tension crackled like live wires as the bass throbbed around us. The king sitting at the head of the table rapped his knuckles against the wood, cutting off their conversation. Number 6 and 3 one person does 10 push-ups with the other sitting on their back, he declared, initiating the drinking game challenge. I flipped over my card number 6. Beside me, Sam revealed his own card with a triumphant grin. I'm number 3. Let's go, big brother, he purred, the honorific dripping with suggestion. The private booth erupted with catcalls. Shawn's too delicate to be on bottom. Someone heckled, referring to my slender frame. Sam should carry him. I'm game. Sam shrugged. Though Luke clearly wasn't. The brooding senior blocked our path, his muscular arm trapping me against the leather booth as he snatched my cocktail. Shawn's skipping this punishment. I'll drink for him. Protests erupted. Nobody wanted to miss this spectacle. The birthday boy hasn't objected. Sam countered, eyes glinting. You can't decide for him. I've been looking forward to this collaboration. The air thickened with rivalry. I could feel Luke's biceps tensing against my waist, veins bulging dangerously. Time to defuse this. Extricating myself from Luke's grip, I grabbed both men's wrists and clasped their hands together. Since you can't agree, I smiled sweetly. Why don't you two complete the challenge instead? Luke's face turned ashen. Sam's smirk froze. The crowd roared approval. Ultimately, both refused that we settled for chugging 10 beers each. After this round, Luke claimed intoxication and bowed out. I retired to scroll through my phone, vaguely aware of Luke taking a call while glaring daggers at Sam. His expression darkened with each passing second. Abruptly hanging up, Luke dragged me out under flimsy pretenses that he shoved me into an empty karaoke room, slamming the door. What the hell? I demanded. Luke loomed over me, his sharp features predatory. That you're seriously dating Sam? Do you even know what he does? Enlighten me. I feigned ignorance. That he's a goddamn escort, screws anything that tips well. You think you can handle that? I widened my eyes in mock shock, biting my lip thoughtfully. But he's so fascinating. Whatever shall I do? Luke's jaw worked violently. Snapping his fingers, he summoned the manager. Bring one of your male escorts. Now. The ugliest one you've got. The confused manager produced a Twinkie blonde caked in makeup, who immediately tried straddling Luke. With a disgusted snarl, Luke shoved him off. The escort turned to me instead. Stand properly. Luke barked, murder in his eyes. The terrified boy scrambled upright. What services do you provide? Luke growled. Just kissing, lap dances, and maybe some over-the-clothes stuff. The escort stammered, misreading this as a compliance check. Overnight, we don't do threesomes, he yelped. Get out, Luke roared. The boy fled like the hounds of hell pursued him. Turning to me, Luke demanded, still find that trash appealing? I tilted my head thoughtfully before answering with visible distress, but he's been so good to me, gentle, attentive, young, handsome, physically fit with abs. Luke shifted his weight sideways until I found myself pinned against the couch. You've tried him? His intense stare made my scalp prickle. Something told me if I confirmed this, Luke might snap. Instinctively, I shook my head. Just guessing. Don't I treat you well? I'm fit too. Want to see my abs? Luke yanked his shirt up, guiding my hand to his sculpted abdomen. The defined ridges felt warm under my fingertips. As I lightly traced the grooves, Luke's breathing deepened, his gaze darkening. Satisfied with his reaction, I withdrew my hand. Your physique is impressive. Pity you're straight, my best bro. Rest assured, I'd never overstep. His expression hardened instead of softening. Don't like me but go for some escort? Those guys specialize in scamming people like you. Annoyed, I pressed my foot against his thigh, grinding down until he groaned. People like me? My foot slid dangerously higher as Luke's breathing hitched. The kind that looks easily bullied. His heated gaze dropped to my lips. Babe, I think I'm getting indecent here. Thankfully he dropped the straight guy act before I considered crushing his family jewels. Teachable moment. Then he nearly choked me with his next words. Am I abnormal? I stomped his foot hard enough to curl his 6'3" frame. By straight boy standards? Absolutely. Figure this out or stop bothering me. Our Cold War began, or rather, my unilateral freeze-out. Though I cut contact with Sam, Luke's agitation grew daily. I maintained civility but returned his breakfasts, banned him from my bed, and ignored his babes. Finally, he cornered me by the bathroom, red-eyed and clutching my shirt hem like a kicked Great Dane. Shawn, why the cold shoulder? One finger against his chest froze him in place. Cole, this is how I treat friends. Imagine when I start dating, kissing, sleeping with someone. You'll fade into irrelevance. His arms locked around me as his eyes reddened further. No, babe, I'm wrong. We're both guys, look at me. I'm rich. Six-pack. 6'3" or 7. Known you forever. We make sense. His dark eyes pleaded. Give me a chance. Luke's courtship turned embarrassingly public. Aside from his new gay awakening, he remained painfully straight, even unearthing ancient dating manuals. I barely stopped his rose-petal heart stunt at our dorm. Roommates Jason and Tyler barely blinked. Tyler elbowed Jason. Told you they weren't official. Pay up. Jason shook his head mournfully. Look, after all that and you're still single? Player much? When Luke ran into that rejected junior who sneered, thought you were both straight? Luke snapped like triggered. You're straight. Your whole bloodline's straight. Weirdest part? Groups of girls kept watching us walk by, smiling like they knew something we didn't. One time in the cafeteria line, I watched Luke walk over perfectly normal but return acting all weird. When I asked what happened, he clammed up. Since he wouldn't talk, I checked his phone. There was this massive group chat called Has Puppy Won His Wife Today? With hundreds of members flooding the feed with screaming emojis. After scrolling forever, I found some actual messages. Luke, my babe looks so cute sleeping. Just like a kitten. CPS are real. Let me see. Luke stops responding. 10 minutes later, Luke, my babe smells amazing. Bang bang bang, let me sniff. Luke ghosts them again. Another hour passes. Luke, my babe just slapped me. So hot. I like your wife too. Quit calling her my babe when you haven't even confessed. I like your wife too was removed by Luke. The chat was filled with Luke begging shippers for dating advice. Their helpful tips were questionable at best. I looked up to see Luke fidgeting nearby, nervously twisting his fingers like a guilty golden retriever awaiting punishment. Care to explain? I waved my phone. He shuffled over, resting his chin on my shoulder. See, babe? So many people root for us. Root for you getting slapped? I raised an eyebrow. No. He flushed, voice dropping. They're teaching me how to chase you properly. Trying not to laugh. I kept my stern face. So you took all their advice? Even the cheesy rose petals thing? Luke wrapped his arms around me from behind, engulfing my hands. I panicked, scared someone might steal you away. His breath tickled my ear. I know I was an idiot before, saying all those hurtful things, but I'm crystal clear now about what I want. What do you want? I murmured, not pulling away. The dorm fell silent except for our synchronized breathing. His anxious expression reminded me of freshman winter, how he'd brave sub-zero temps to save library seats for our finals. That time he skipped classes to nurse me through fever all night in the infirmary. Luke, I whispered, remember sophomore year when people asked if we were dating? He nodded stiffly. You said don't joke about that, we're just brothers. I held his gaze. That stuck with me for years. Color drained from his face. One more weary just buddy speech, I warned, and I'll bite you. He pressed his forehead to mine, voice rough. Shawn, I've loved you since forever. Too dumb to realize it sooner. His eyes held twin reflections of me. Figured it out now, completely. His lips brushed my nose. So, can I make it official? Babe? Smiling, I looped arms around his neck. We'll see about that.